Okay, so I'd like to call the Open Space Stewardship and Policies Work Group to order. I'm here with Marjorie Winters with Susan Messino, and we have Tom Hazel, Tom Fitzgerald, Tom Dabrowski with us on staff. So, all right, so we have the approval of the minutes from October 27th meeting. I didn't see any problems with them. Susan, did you see any problems with the meeting minutes from the October 27th? 27th. Susan, can you hear me?
No, yes, I can hear you. I'm just looking at it again. And if you guys can hear me, I might turn off my camera again if it gets kind of wobbly. I've been having a little bit of trouble.
Okay. All right, but no problems with the October 27th minutes? Susan?
No, it looks good.
Oh, okay, so we'll approve them to file them. All right. So I don't think we need to vote. There are only two of us. So, all right, model agricultural RFP and lease is the next one. Susan, I know you and I were going to get together and talk about this, but then we realized we had to do it in a meeting format, I think. So,
right.
I've looked over the Wallingford and the Manchester documents that Tom, you sent us earlier in one of our emails. And I was going to start to work on them, but I thought it'd be better for us to talk about them before we started working on them. Susan, I know last time you had said that you wanted a really simple form. Did you look at the Manchester RFP? Did you?
Let me see. I did, but that was a while ago.
Okay. So it was pretty straightforward. I was surprised it didn't seem to have anything where it listed how much the person was going to bid for them in the RFP. So that was, they must figure that there must be an extra attachment. But if we could, I thought we could try to do the RFP along that line. It seemed pretty straightforward, a lot of writing for the farmers, but I was curious to whether you thought it was simple enough, because I know last time you said you wanted it simple and straightforward for the farmer. It was, it was only 2 pages. I mean, it required a lot of filling in, how much experience they had, what kind of farming they wanted to do. And that seemed pretty straightforward. And I know
Is it possible to share it? Can we share it on the screen?
Let me see if I can do that. I've got it up here. Let's see, can I share it? Yeah, share screen. Did I put it? Wallingford Farm Lease. Yeah. That's Manchester, yeah. So here, can you see it now? Is my screen showing up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was the name and address, so what kind of operation. I don't think we're going to be doing dairy. The capacity and experience of the manager. Describe past experience, improvements you've made downtown. The property you're applying to, intended use of the property. How does this fit your business plan? What is your stewardship plan for the property? How would you use the property benefit? And the signature, again, they didn't put in how much what your bid is. But it seemed pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
How does that compare with what Simsbury does now? Does anyone on staff know? How do we?
They were all signed before I started back here. I haven't seen the files, so I don't know if Tom has.
So did we have it? Did we have before? Are there any?
I've looked at a couple from 2012, I think, in dealing with the other side of Holcomb Street to see what was coming up for renewal. I only have them on paper form, unfortunately, I think. And they were rather complicated. What did I do with those? I think our highlight. Yeah, there was a whole, I mean, it read like a deed from what I
So
recall.
was that for the RFP or was it for the, was that?
Yeah,
Some of the RFPs can get pretty detailed. This is relatively pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
There's not a lot here. I mean, there's maybe you could give them direction about, use additional pieces of paper if necessary.
Well,
I
that
think
was,
I think we should have maybe there should be some guidelines about what type of machinery or hours of operation might be. If it's in a neighborhood, that kind of thing. You might want to put that in there or as part of the attachment to this, but if not, then, that might be in, just something that when there's a final contract settled, the lease agreement itself, those things will be spelled out, but you may, in the explanation of the RFP, it might be good to have that in there so they're not wasting their time if there's something they wanted to do that they can't do. Summary, maybe the town is looking for certain types of crops or would a farm stand be allowed on the property? Those type of things should be in the summary of the proposal, ahead of this document.
Yeah, that was in the appendix C. They had a list of practices, agricultural land uses, and agreement. So they did give they had a simple form for the farmer to fill out, and then they gave a whole list of what the town wanted to see, and that's what they put in the what kind of practices and don't sell our stone walls and all sorts of things. But I think that machinery hours operation, especially up in some of those properties, would really be good. And a farm stand, and they didn't have anything about that in those. The other, they had Wallingford had general terms, and both Wallingford and Manchester had general terms of and conditions, and we could sort of pick from both of them, combine them, and that would then give the applicant an idea of what we wanted, and that would give them a better chance of filling out the RFP. But as far as the RFP, this seems pretty straightforward, but it would be nice to have something where they say how much they want to rent the property for.
Yeah, there should be a line in there. If you could scroll back up, Marjorie, I can't see the top of it from, again. Yeah, there should be either at the end of this, before the signature part, there'd be like a proposal form. They propose to lease the property at such and such an address for X amount of years at X amount of dollars. And then they're signing there. That's actually the bid form. It actually, there would be that would be the kind of after this question page. The next thing would be the official bid form that they would submit with these application materials that basically would say, again, I realize I understand that I am submitting a bid to use property at this address for this amount of years at this amount of dollars. And it could even be a year 1, year 2, year 3, and then, or, if it's an increasing amount per year for whatever reason, I don't know if that they would want to do that, but whether it's a fixed amount or, you can put year 1 lease, year 2 lease, year 3. We did this recently with a couple other RFPs that we're doing for extended, contracts. So they could potentially do that. If they're only looking for 3 years at $500 a year or whatever it is, they can just 500. But if it was, if they were thinking their bid's more amenable to the town to have it for 5 years plus a 5-year renewal or whatever, at X amount of dollars, that way you could see what you're getting in there. But the submittal form with the bid form would be what I think the committee would use to evaluate the different bids.
So. One of the things I also saw in reviewing the Manchester and Wallingford thing was they've had the USDA NRCS come through and evaluate the property, looking to see what conservation and agricultural use, what combination of the two. We haven't done that in town, have we?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
It might be good for us to contact NRCS to see if they could look at it would give us a better handle on which properties and what to request. I've noticed that both towns had different conservation plans for different pieces of property. So different farmland that was available. They would manage them somewhat differently depending on what they were adjacent. If they were adjacent to a bog or a wetland or something, they would highlight those issues. So it's something the town could look to going forward. I know we need an RFP for this coming up soon again.
Marjorie, are you talking about properties that have those kinds of features on it in addition to the agricultural area? Or are you talking about buffer strips for pollinators? Or I'm not sure what you're talking.
Yeah, that's what in the I'm not sure if it was in Manchester or Wallingford. They contacted the NRCS for them to give a suggestions for conservation practices on a particular property of farmland. So some of it was buffer strip, some of it's how to manage mural wetland. Just they they're knowledgeable about those things, and they gave a professional report to the town that could be used for management of those farm sites. For instance, if there was a hayfield, they gave recommendations for mowing schedules for birds and things like that. So for each property, there were different considerations.
I see. Well, I think that to get this RFP done, that's a little bit too detailed, but maybe we should have something in the cover sheet or the appendix or whatever we're talking about. Say, our intention is to get advice about timing about these things. We want to protect, wetland resources, and we expect you to respect those guidelines or something like that.
Yeah, and some of them have things like, use best management practices around various things. And they do have language in both the Wallingford and the Manchester about conservation practices. So, but I was just thinking going forward, after we do the RFP, going forward in the next year, we might want to call in the NRCS to look at our properties.
Most of our agricultural lease properties are already established. So I think with the notation of no expansion, minor edge maintenance, I think we'll stay within, we won't get too out of control until those things are in place.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
The other thing I saw was, there was good language in Wallingford for the farmland lease program, which was, going towards our, our stewardship practices. I think it would be a good thing to look at and adopt something similar for our agricultural land. And, in addition to, we have to have the RFP, we have to have the lease conditions and all this, but these are things that sort of set out why the town is operating farmland property, leasing farmland property. It's just a good overview of what the town should be looking at when they're preserving the land.
Mm-hmm.
That was worthwhile. But Tom, thank you. Tom Hazel, thank you for sending those. They were good examples.
I think that with an overview that states what the town's intentions are, it gives the leasee at least an idea of how they should be acting, and gives kind of a parameter for what we're looking for good stewardship to the land while they lease it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the goal today, though, is just to get this finalized so we can discuss it Wednesday. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. Okay. So my only comment on this document is, should we leave? So, if we just scroll up to it just like scroll through it again super quick.
Yeah.
So my first question is the type of agricultural operation experience. Are they supposed to circle one of those?
I think there's
it looks like there should have been a line there.
Yeah. After this, they probably. I would think so. I don't know what you.
Multiple lines, or they put it on a separate piece of paper or something. Please, answer these questions, on a separate piece of paper. But it looks like there should be a line. Dairy, animals, or maybe a couple lines with animals or something.
Okay, I wasn't sure what was up with that. And then I thought, if we do need to put a line, and we need some space, it'd be nice to keep this on 2 pages. I think maybe some of the lines below. We're
two.
Room. Oh, okay.
Only 2.
We're on 2 pages, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So we got room to put in I mean, I just copied this from theirs. We can put in lines and we can.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I thought if we needed more room, maybe there's like too many lines under some of these other things. I don't want the farmer to think they have to like write us an essay, but
Yeah.
I also thought that maybe there might be a space like, is there any other information you think is important or something like that,
Yeah.
some open-ended thing.
All right.
That'd be like, is there any other information you would like to provide?
Yeah.
To be considered in the evaluation of your bid
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
or proposal.
And so then, Tom T, is like a standard form that you're saying that could be attached to this, which is like their bid form?
Yeah, I can. I will email to the three of you right now the one we used for one of the golf solicitations, and it's just basically copy and pasting the bid form. It's very simple at the end. It's the bid form at the end, and you can choose how you want to add it in there.
Could it fit on this same paper? Could it fit on this?
I would insert it onto the top of page 3 and then have the applicant signature and date at the bottom of it.
Sounds good.
I see.
So your signature is on the bid form.
Okay.
If you give me a moment, I will send it to you. You can take a look at it and share it. I'll just copy and paste from that document. I'm just going to go dark for a minute while you guys do that.
Okay, good. Because I know that Maria wanted to get this done.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it on Wednesday and get it nailed down.
And we can even, I can merge those two documents, the list of practices, agriculture, it's called the Agricultural Land Use Agreement. And I could probably do that today and get that out to you by the end of the day.
Okay. You mean that would be like the cover or appendix or whatever?
It's an appendix, yeah. It's an appendix,
okay.
so that gives the lease or the leasee, whatever, the idea of what we want.
Okay.
And they're good, nice standard practices. All right, good. So we're gonna do the bid form on a separate page. I'll rearrange this, format it so that it looks like an RFP. I'll send it to you all and see what you want, how you want to change, if you have any changes or suggestions, so we can do that for Wednesday. Okay. All right. So at the moment, we'll just do the RFP and the lease. And the leases are very complicated. The lease documents that we had from Manchester and Wallingford, very legalese. But I'll see what I can do with that and send it back to you. But certainly it would have to be looked at by the town lawyer and all. The leases are the complicated things. All right. Is there anything else we need to do for this one?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Marjorie?
Is there anything else we need to do are there any other things that should go in? I'll send it to you. And if you can see anything else needs to go in, I'll just add one too. See what you think, and we could submit that for Wednesday. So a very short turnaround. We'll do it Tuesday, tomorrow. All right. Anything else with that? Okay. All right. Open space acquisition criteria and guidelines. We had that list of 14 points. Was there anything we wanted to change on that, or is that one that we're just going to again submit the the committee, the stewardship committee. I don't think we were going to do anything more on that, were we? I see it on the agenda item.
I'm opening up the agenda now.
So it just says open space acquisition criteria and guidelines. This is the next item on the agenda.
Oh, yeah. I flipped to the back of that and I thought that looked, I just saw a little typo in it, but that's it.
Okay, well, we can check that. We can fix that at the stewardship meeting. I mean, the open space meeting. Okay. So nothing on that. And then the sustainable Connecticut grant for Ecological Trail Pollinator Showcase Garden. I don't have anything to report on that.
Oops, hang on, I'm scrolling back. I haven't, I've talked, so related to that, I've talked to the principal or whatever, emailed with the principal at Tooten Hills about replacing Bluebird box and putting an information sign with a QR code. But I haven't done the grant or haven't moved forward with costing that stuff out or anything, but that's inching along.
Okay, if you need a Bluebird sign, we made one for Warrenbrook Nature Center. You know, it's a large sign, but it's an informational sign. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to use that one too, if that's what you wanted.
Okay, I want to contact Roaring Brook also. My students were supposed to do this and they didn't, which will impact their grade. They were supposed to contact you guys or someone about developing a cost estimate for kind of an info board kind of. So, you know, so like so many of my great ideas, I end up holding the bag at the end of the day. So, so anyway, I'll be in touch about that.
Okay. All right. So nothing more on that. And so the next one is discussion of the 2020 meeting, 2021 meeting schedule. Did we approve that at the last?
I think we did.
I thought so too.
Was that for the open space committee and this is for the work group? I don't know. I don't know if the work groups need to be work group needs to be posted on a regular basis, but.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we decided this was going to be just an, you know, schedule as needed kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Okay, and then I think the last one, which is probably on the other page in my printer, is the adjournment. So I don't know if there's anything else we want to discuss. I'm gonna try to work on this today and get it out to you all, and we can look like we've made real progress.
Okay. I did send you all the bid form, the example of a bid form.
Thank you. So
feel free to use that as you want. It's pretty, it's fairly generic. You just have to take out a few terms of golf, but I think you could even save space on the front page by the way I set up that bid form on the third page with the name and address information at the end.
Okay.
You could almost get right into the other questions to save space if you needed to, by taking away the beginning name.
So I'll take a look. And oh, there was something. Do we have a list of the properties that the town has farmland agreements for?
I think Tom H is working on that.
Which one's that? I'm sorry.
Do we have
The list of agricultural properties?
Oh, yeah. We had that proposal packet with the maps on there. The agricultural properties, I've been trying to nail down with Jeff Shea as far as how they're kind of delineated as far as nomenclatures for them, because like the one on Barn Door Hill, it's a single parcel split into 3 different pieces, and kind of the names of it became the names of the leasees, you know, so we kind of call them by their last names.
Yeah.
I think if we can get, even under GIS, it's kind of picky because it doesn't necessarily have a map block and a lot because it's kind of town property. But hopefully we come up with some kind of either numerical system or, you know, Barn Door Hill, plot A, plot B, plot C.
Yeah.
And that way we can have it mapped, and that way it can be attached to the lease so that at least when it's being reviewed, we know what parcel we're talking about and what its acreage is.
And is it possible also to get the, I saw, and I think it was either Wallingford or Manchester, one of them had the soil type, the soil maps for each property.
I think that could be simply done. I could pull NRCS on all that with all their datum sets on it.
That'd be good.
And that would be part of the parcel as well.
That'd be great. All right. Excellent. All right. Well, I've got to go and do some work. So, all right.
Thank you.
All right.